What's going on? This is Hoppe Hour. I am your host, Ryan Hoppe, and on the phone line from the top-rated BJ and Migs morning show on 99.9 KISW in Seattle, Migs is on Hoppe Hour once again. What's up, bro?
What's up, man? Good to hear from you again.
Dude, a lot has changed in your life and my life since we've last spoken on the show. So for people that are listening that don't know, you are now a father. So how has that been going?
One word. I'm two words. Very tired. Dude, it's been great. I keep telling people when they ask me how it is being a father, it's like, dude, dad life is freaking fantastic. It's a whole new way of thinking. It's a whole new way of just being, but it makes everything else kind of fall into way more perspective. I stopped sweating so much of the small stuff because at the end of the day, I'm just trying to be a good dad and not raise this child wrong and have her look up to someone that's a positive influence on her. So it's been fantastic. But 2 years ago would have never thought it would even happen. It's just been a whirlwind for me and my wife, but everything about it's been fantastic. So
what was the way you were viewing life prior to your daughter being born and now you view it differently? Like, what's an example?
Can I curse on this? I just want to make sure I don't say anything.
Yeah.
Okay. I used to, dude, I just don't give a shit about anything else anymore. I used to whatever it may be, I would get stressed out about. I'd get anxiety about work stuff, little stuff. Now it's just really the only opinion I care about is, and granted, she's only one, so she really doesn't have an opinion, but the only opinion I will care about is what her opinion is. And my wife, of course, as well. But like, I'm not so worried about what other people think anymore because in the grand scheme of things, like they've got their own thing to worry about. I've got my thing, and my thing is really about just raising a child in this world. And I don't know, it just changed the way that I feel about things. And I'm not so, full of anxiety when it comes to everything else. I mean, I'm full of anxiety now with the child, but it's good anxiety. It's just, I want to be a good father. And I think I'm okay with that kind of pressure being put on myself because I want to be the best parent I can be for her.
Now, through your life, have you had to deal with being anxious a lot?
Oh, yeah. I think both of us have. I mean, anyone does. I mean, but when it comes to like just, as you know, in the world of radio, and you live and die by the opinions and thoughts of others and ratings and things along those lines. Sometimes it could be a couple sleepless nights because of that. Nothing awful. Just, sometimes you get a little bit of a panic attack here or there and you worry about, okay, what does the future hold? Now it's like, okay, I can't stress about that stuff. I got, at least for me, I don't know, I'm just kind of rambling on this, but for the most part, it's just, I can't control the uncontrollable, and I used to think I could. And I think having a child for me really kind of put me in check to not worry about that kind of stuff.
Well, I don't have a kid, so I can't relate to what you're saying, but you saying just now that you are not in control of the uncontrollable is something I relate to because I have this new mindset, bro. Everything I've ever thought would happen has happened. And some things have happened and some have not, but none of the things have happened the way I thought they were going to. Every time I've tried to predict the future in any sort of fashion, how I'm going to pass my driver's test when I was 18, it took me a second time, or I thought my previous girlfriend was the one, or I thought I was going to work in radio in Cleveland forever. I could name 100 million examples. It's weird how in life you always think that you know everything and you really don't.
No, you really, it's a good point, man. I think once you stop trying to force things to happen a certain way, because you're just going to let yourself down. If it doesn't happen the way that it does, you're going to be upset with yourself and you're going to be like, oh man, I really fucked that up. And you're wasting all this time and putting all this energy into being mad at yourself about that when really you can be putting your energy towards whatever the new obstacle is in your life. You can find other things that will be way more productive, whether it be working on your podcast, whether it be working on other things outside of radio or working on things in radio to be a better performer. I think we get so hell bent on like, okay, well, I have a certain plan. And if it doesn't go that way, it's okay. It just means just adjust and go with whatever it is that, I don't know. I don't think I think once you stop worrying about that kind of stuff, as long as you work hard and as long as you're putting your best foot forward and being a decent person, things will work out. I'm not saying that they're always going to work out great, but you'll make the adjustments. And as long as you got, a sense of like a hard, I don't know, for me, it's all about work ethic. As long as I'm going to bust my ass at whatever it's going to be, I'm pretty sure I'm going to be okay. I sometimes get in my head, I'm like, well, what if this falls apart or what if that falls apart? A lot of shit has fallen apart in my life, and I just figured out ways to make the adjustments. And in a weird way, things have gotten better because of that. And that's the fun of life. I mean, they always say it's such a cheesy thing. It's not about the destination; it's about the journey. But it truly is right. I mean, as soon as you start like appreciating what is going on in this moment, man, it just makes whatever bullshit you're going through way easier to digest because it's just going to pass. And then whatever else is going to happen, it could be good, it could be bad, but that's going to pass as well. And once you stop being so just caught up in those moments and beating yourself up over that stuff, I don't know. I think personally, it's a better way to live.
So you've been doing the show with BJ for 14 to 15 years now. What do you think is the biggest difference on how you approach morning radio from when the show first began to now being a father?
I don't know if there's been a big difference since being a dad because, like I said, it's been about a year. I think I'm not as maybe I won't sweat the small stuff as much, but that's happened over time. Like, I mean, the things that if something didn't go right, if there was like a weird moment of dead air or the wrong audio was played, in year 1 through 5, maybe, like, holy shit, the world's coming to an end, whereas now if one of our guys or even me, like whoever, like something screwed up happens, it's just like, dude, it's not the end of the world, all right, so you played the wrong thing or there was dead air for this or whatever it may be. In the grand scheme of things, we're worked up about it, but our listeners aren't. In fact, they probably found it funny because it just shows flaws, and people like seeing that they're not the only flawed person. So if you fuck up on the air and you can like acknowledge it and make fun of yourself for it, it just endears you to the audience. So I think that's been the biggest difference. I mean, I think when I was younger, I wanted everything to be perfect, and when it wasn't perfect, you kind of lose your mind about it. But now I'm okay with things not being perfect. In fact, I kind of don't mind setting things up for failure because it's the natural reaction of all of us to the failure that actually will be the entertaining part of that segment.
What do you think is the key to getting rid of being a perfectionist? Because I'm a bit of a perfectionist where even when things go perfectly at work, I take it for granted. So then when something goes wrong, I miss when things were perfect. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. I think that just comes with time, man. I think once you realize the world didn't end because you weren't perfect, and the more that happens, the more examples of that happens, you have a bigger well of a resource to look back on and be like, hey, when that happened, it wasn't perfect and everything's still fine. I'm still employed. In fact, I'm doing better now at my job than I ever was. And I've had a lot of imperfections. I don't think there's any words of wisdom other than just, I don't know. I don't really have a good answer for you other than like, and I know it's a shitty answer to be like, over time you'll be okay with this because that's just like that doesn't help you. But I think over time, truly, you start realizing that the imperfections are what makes you different and what makes you unique and what makes you stand out. If you were perfect all the time, truly you'll be boring. And your listeners will not relate to you or your coworkers won't either, because you're caught up in being perfect, and nobody is. And if they can see that you're flawed and you can still get your hit done and you can still be, if your track record's 90%, trust me, that's way better than I think being 100%, because you're never going to be 100%. You're going to go crazy trying to be. So do you want to go crazy trying to be 100% and maybe be 98, or do you want to be happy and hit 90% or 80% even? And it's still, I don't know, man. I'm not here to tell you like, don't try hard, but like, don't kill yourself if things don't work out the way that you thought they would.
Do you think social media over the past 15 to 20 years has hurt the world where people feel like they have to be perfect? Because I explain social media like this. To me, it's like watching Tom Brady's touchdowns, but you don't see him fumbling the ball or throwing interceptions or throwing incompletions. To me, social media is like a fake, vapid highlight reel of what everyone wants you to think their life is.
Yeah, I think people take social media way too serious, and I don't know whose fault that is. I think it's probably all of our own faults. For me, social media is just, I view it as a place to put fun shit and a place to put like pictures of my kids and my family on the East Coast can see it. I really don't take a lot of stock into social media because, like you said, like everybody's putting out their best foot forward on social media, as they should. I mean, I just like seeing good shit and happy shit from people on social media. I really, I know that they're battling with crap just like the rest of us. They don't need to share it all the time on social media. If they want to, if that helps them, then by all means go for it. But I don't take social media as serious as I think many people do. To me, it's just a form of, it makes communicating with my family on the East Coast easier because they kind of get to see stuff without me having to put in all the work of sending each one of them a picture or each one of them a text. We can kind of like, they're keeping tabs on me and I'm keeping tabs on them. And I don't have to put as much work into it. But I understand what you're saying. I think a lot of people do live and die by social media. And I think that's scary because there is this false narrative that a lot of people are putting out there on social media. And if you're trying to live up to that, that's not, I mean, you're almost living a delusional life because you're not going to be able to live up to that because they're not even living up to that. Their worlds are just as flawed as the rest of us. But I don't know. I'm not going to get too worked up about social media. I used to. I think all of us do. You get a bad message from a listener or you fuck up and you get like a troll getting on you. And then I got to realize, like, why do I care about their opinion? I don't even know who they are. I don't know what they've accomplished in their life. And honestly, the opinions I would want to care about, the criticisms I want to care about in the world of my industry are those that are successful, as opposed to somebody who's miserable at home or just is going through a breakup and just wants to use social media as a way to get like the anger out of them. Whatever. I don't know what the backstory is behind a lot of them. Sometimes I want to ask them, I'm like, why are you so pissed off? Like, why are you so mad? You're yelling at someone or you're mad at me and you think that I should care about your opinion. I don't even know you. Like, how sad is it that you're writing me mean stuff when I don't even know you? So like, I try and, that's been my perspective of late with social media. And I don't get so upset about anything because it's like the negative ones, in my opinion, why do I care about their opinion? And the positive ones, I'm like, that's freaking awesome. Like, I appreciate you caring enough to write me because that means a lot, if that makes sense.
Well, it makes perfect sense because there's a lot of radio people. A lot of times it's the ones that are disgruntled that will respond to the hate and they think they're outwitting the haters by writing a long response. Yeah. And I am completely guilty of this because I used to do it and I quit doing it maybe 4 months ago, where I think you're outwitting them by responding, but you're literally just giving them what they want. And by blocking them, you're just kind of putting them on ghost mode. You know what I mean? Like, there's something really powerful where you can just block that person.
Yeah, you know, honestly, like, I think you're never going to change the opinion of a troll or if someone doesn't want to take a shot at you, no matter. And I used to be the one that would correct their grammar or point out what they said was wrong. And it's like, what is the point of that? Like, all you're doing is stooping to their level. Nothing is going to change. Like, they're not going to all of a sudden change and turn into a good person because you told them that they used the word "your" improperly. Yeah, man. I don't have, typically, unless someone like really is crossing the line, I don't really block people. I mute a lot of people. But for the most part, like, it's just in one ear and out the other when it comes to someone that's trying to say something mean. Because you know what? What are you going to get in a pissing match with somebody that you don't even know? Why? Like, I'd rather put my energy towards people that are like appreciative of what I do. And more importantly now, and this is the perspective of having a kid, like, do I want to waste my time spending 20 minutes getting a troll back with like a really well thought out, witty response? Or do I want to spend those 10, 20 minutes like hanging out with my kid and watching her learn how to walk? Like, that's the perspective I have with social media. It's like, who gives a fuck about what they're thinking? I got better things to worry about.
I never thought about that aspect because I'm in a relationship and I live with my girlfriend, but a lot of times when she's not home, all I have to take care of is like making sure that the place is clean and my cat's in the other room sleeping. So I feel like when I have a kid someday, it'll be different where I won't be on social media as much because you're not going to want to be on your phone all day and missing your daughter or son's first word or whatever. You know what I mean?
Right. How much would that suck? It's like, my wife's like, did you see her? She took her first step. No, I was talking to @douchebag99 on Twitter because he thought I sucked on the radio. Like, really? Like, You know, it's perspective, and also like, dude, like, would you rather waste your time playing on social media, arguing with people, or you got free time when your girlfriend's not around? You probably want to catch up on some fun shows, play some video games. I'd rather do things that are going to make me happy than get sucked into the negativity that is social media.
Well, the funny thing too about social media is anytime you get a rude response, it's either a person with a fake picture or the picture they're using. It's never flattering. You never see a successful person with a happy family saying mean things. It's always some douchebag taking like a midlife crisis selfie in his car. It's never somebody happy, ever.
It's you got the people, and they're the ones that always will comment on your looks. It's like, did you not look, or they'll comment on your looks and they don't have any, because of course you're going to be petty sometimes. Like someone will make fun of how I look. I'm like, let me see what I'm working with here. And you go on their social media pages, 0 pictures of themselves. I'm like, you are so insecure about how you look that you have no pictures of yourself on your own social media, but you're taking shots at other people's. It's just like, it cracks me up. Or you get the people that are like negative, and then you go to their page and they have a Bible verse as their bio, and I'm like, come on. Like, I go to church every week, man. Like, this is not what I learned. Like, last I checked, that's not part of like what you learn in Christianity is to like be an asshole on Twitter.
For being a religious person, what do you say to people that think that it's BS? You know what I mean? Because like, I feel like the new trend is to proclaim that you're atheist and that there's nothing out there because of people like Ricky Gervais. Like, I have no idea what I believe in, but I definitely know that since I've been meditating and listening to The Secret and following the law of attraction, that my life has changed completely over the last year, and I'm a lot happier and much more successful. So for you, what's the key to finding your happy spot with that, if that makes sense?
It's a tough one because I'm never one that's going to be like a Bible thumper, and there are moments where I question things, and I think that's perfectly normal. I don't know. I get worried about the people who just blindly just say like, no, everything is the way that it is, and that's how it is, and like, and they use it for judgment, they use it for whatever. I'm like, hey, like if someone came up to me and was like, how do you believe in this? And I don't believe it. I'm like, that's fine. Like, I'm not sure either, but this gives me a sense of hope and a sense of faith. And if I'm right, awesome. And if I'm wrong, it didn't hurt me as a human being. You know what I mean? Like it only made me strive to be a better person. So at the end of the day, I'm not really seeing any downside to it. I could be completely wrong. Like, when the day comes that I die, then I might just be done. Like, I don't know. It just seems odd to me that would be the case, but like, I can't prove other. It's like talking to someone no different than someone that like believes in ghosts. I like to think that there aren't any, but like, how can I tell someone who may have experienced something that I haven't experienced that they're wrong? So I kind of like trying like just keep an open mind to everybody. Like I don't have like any judgment towards someone who does or doesn't believe. And a lot of times people don't even know that I'm like a religious person that goes to church every week. And when they find out, they're like, that's cool. Like, I never would have got that vibe from you because you never really are the one that like is like standing on a soapbox yelling and screaming that you're that person. And to me, that's even cooler because I think that reflects on who you are better than trying to like, put your chest out and dump your chest and say, I'm this super Christian guy. And then you don't really live the perfect life. And then you're like, I don't know. I think there's a lot of people who use religion as a way to get out of doing crappy things or to justify that they're better than other people. And that bothers me. So I'm always at odds with religion in a sense, and that I do believe, but I sometimes question those that say that they do. So it's kind of like a weird thing for me, but I believe in hope and I believe in community, and that's what I love about going to a church and spending time with people that also have that vibe. And as long as you're a good person, I'm going to be able to have a conversation and hang out with anyone. I don't care if you're an atheist or a super religious person. As long as you're a decent person, and I'll sit down and bullshit with you for the rest of the day if that's the case.
I have this weird thing, bro, where at my place, when the moon's outside, and I live in the 3rd floor of my apartment complex, so when the moon's out and it's going to different parts of the sky during the night and it'll come into my room, I literally can see it if I open up my eyes, and like the light of the moon comes through my room. And for some reason, there's something weird where when that happens, I feel this like ray of energy, and then when it doesn't happen, I don't feel it. And it's the weirdest thing I've ever felt. And I've never had that in I've lived at 4 different places in my life. My house growing up, Cleveland, my other apartment, and now this place. And whenever that happens, dude, I just have this like feeling that everything's going to be okay. You know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah. I mean, it's clear that your girlfriend's drugging you, and that's awesome.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding. I get it, dude. There's something about energy, and there's something about vibe, and I don't think there's ever a way to really fully put your finger on it. And to some, when you try and say that, they'll look at you like you're insane, and to others, they'll be like, "I totally get what you're saying." But I'm definitely leaning towards the side of like, I totally understand what you mean. Like, there's energy out there that we have no idea what's going on. Otherwise, like, you know, why are you sometimes in a great mood and why are you sometimes in a bad mood? I don't, you know, and I don't know, man. Like, I don't think it sounds weird at all, but I could understand. I get what you're saying.
Well, the thing too, real quick, is I'm very much into the law of attraction, and I believe you can manifest anything you want. I mean, I can't play basketball, but like if you have like a reasonable goal, I believe you can manifest it. And some of my coworkers on air will kind of mock it and be like, "Oh, you want to go to a man fest?" Just like doing like little lowbrow jokes. But like I've learned, like, if a person doesn't want to believe in that, like, don't force them. You know what I mean? Like, if they want to go through life being negative and frowning and not believing in what you believe in or not respecting what you believe in, why try to convince them when you can just work on believing it even more to yourself? Because at the end of the day, you're just having to prove yourself, bro.
Well, also, I mean, like, if you look at what you've done, I mean, you had a dream of working in radio, and that right there is the proof of, like, you know, you could have listened to detractors. You could have listened to people who said that wasn't going to happen. You could have listened to the negative people that maybe told you weren't like what they consider to be your prototypical radio personality. I've gotten that throughout my career, but you continue to work hard, and you had a vision, and maybe you're not where you want to be, or maybe you are. I don't know. But you know what I mean? Like, you're putting your best foot forward, and the proof is right there. I mean, you are working in the industry, so it's not like as if like you have these dreams that you keep saying you want to do this, that, and the other thing. And what are you doing? You're doing nothing. You're sitting on the couch, maybe collecting unemployment, just being a dreamer. Like, you are a dreamer, but you're also putting in the work to make those dreams happen. So I could totally understand where you're coming from. And I mean, you're going to get people that are going to make fun of you for whatever. So if they're making fun of you for something that actually is making you a better human, let them. I mean, the joke's on them at the end of the day.
And I want to say, before I let you go, before I will let you plug your show, I want to say 7 years ago when we were drinking in the room at the morning show boot camp, once again, I am sorry that my drunk self put my feet on your bed.
Dude, still one of my favorite times, man. Like I said, if it makes a good story, who gives a fuck? Like, and that was a great night. I mean, we had a great time, and we still laugh about those things. But dude, don't even worry about it. Just so, if I can, I don't know, for those that are listening, on Friday we are celebrating 50 years as a radio station, which is a pretty cool thing, and I know BJ and I are very excited about it. Something that we're both very proud to be a part of. The station's going to be talking to some of the past personalities, guys like the Bob Rivers Show, icon in the world of Seattle radio, and also in just morning radio in general. Rock stars are going to be joining us, like Mike McCready from Pearl Jam, Duff McKagan, the Guns N' Roses, the guys in Alice in Chains, the guys in Nirvana. Television personalities that are from Seattle are going to join us, guys like Joel McHale, Rainn Wilson. It's going to be a crazy day, and it's happening all day on Friday from 6 a.m. Pacific until 10 o'clock at night, and people can check it out at KISW.com or on radio.com.
Well, dude, it's been a lot of fun having you on the show. Keep up the good work, and I am just glad that everything has worked out for you, because I've known you for 8 years, and you're a good dude, Migs.
You as well, man. Whenever I see your posts on social media, I'm always happy to see that you're still there in the world of radio, working, and you're killing it, man. Like, you're doing what you dreamt of doing, and I hope that you're proud of yourself. And I know that I would be if I was you, because like you said, I know you're a perfectionist and you do all that crap. But man, at the end of the day, you should be very happy and very proud that you're succeeding in radio, and you still got so many years ahead of you. So don't beat yourself up when you fuck up, and it's going to happen a lot.
Thank you, bro. The next time we have a morning show boot camp, whenever the hell COVID ends, we definitely got to hang out again.
Oh yeah, of course. And apologies if I'm rambling. I have not slept much. That's the one downside of having a child that just figured out how to walk. I'm following her around all the time, so the idea of naps doesn't exist anymore. So my mind is completely in autopilot right now. But much love to you, man. I appreciate you having me on your show.
Awesome. Thank you, bro.
All right, I'll talk to you soon.
All right, bye.
Later.
And that was Migs.
What?
And that was Migs from the BJ and Migs show on 99.9 KISW as he called into Hoppe Hour. Now, if you're a listener of BJ and Migs and you want to hear more of my show, I do a show where I rant about celebrity news and much, much more. So go to every single podcasting platform. If it be Spotify, Spreaker, TuneIn, Apple Music, Amazon Music. I'm on every single podcasting platform by searching up Hoppe Radio, HOPPE Radio. I record for the hardworking average Joe and Jane. So check it out and spread the word.